Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my first real video since I was away for a handful of days visiting my family. My hair is getting even more out of control and I need to get a haircut soon, and I came back with a lot of bug bites on my arms, so I'm going to be a shut-in for a little while and get back to Marvel Strike Force. And in today's video, I want to talk about character costumes in the game and the events that we've been having with relation to these releases. I want to talk about whether or not this is positive for the game, or maybe it just doesn't matter or make much of a difference to the overall experience. I know for myself, I'm very disappointed with the lack of usable, decent character costumes to come out so far, mostly for outdated characters that people rarely use or definitely aren't daily. Really, the only one that I am using on a daily basis is Iceman. But we have had an increase of resources due to these events, and whether or not we would have had these otherwise. So I just kind of want to compare this, talk about if this is going to be the new norm going forward when it comes to our Patchly events, and if this is just a way for them to give us more resources behind the guise of a costume event. So sit back, relax, and let's get this show started. So we're gonna start things off here in the events window. That's what I meant to say here, with both the Vote for Loki campaign and the campaign Mischief. So these came hand in hand, side by side at the same time here. And if I'm not mistaken, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about this. I believe Kestrel and the Nick Fury costume were tied. I think they were tied together. If they weren't, it's only been one patch, and for some reason I can't remember. But you know, we've been having these sort of events come with the campaign event character, which is kind of nice. And if you look at it, it kind of just gives us a way to have more resources in that way than what we just would have had normally from a campaign event character. So going forward, I wonder if this is going to be the new norm, and if this is kind of their way to disguise giving us more resources just through the campaign costumes. And so we'll have to see. So if we actually go into the milestones, and that's what I really care about. In order to get the costume done, though, for this particular one, for the campaign Mischief, you know, you did have to spend, I think you had to core 50 times 4, so 200 power cores daily, in order to get enough of these flash bits in order to unlock the costume. So it's not entirely, you know, free-to-play accessible necessarily for everyone. You can get it, of course, free-to-play. But for some people who might not be able to spend the cores to get all these flash bits, you know, we might not end up getting all of it, and you might end up just converting it into costume credits, which we'll talk about when we get to the store and what's available there. But some of these costumes appear to be limited so far. If we go back to the previous patch, and I haven't been keeping track of these costumes. Maybe I need to make a spreadsheet for that as well. Maybe I'm going to start doing that, because I kind of forgot. And, you know, we have been getting some limited time costumes. We have the WandaVision costumes from last patch, and the Siege Thor, who isn't available full-time either. So there are some of these limited time costumes, and the ones that are always available in the store. And why does this matter? Well, like I said, it doesn't really, but it's kind of interesting to see the kind of extra resources that they're giving us behind this sort of disguise here with the costume events. Now, they're not really monetizing this too much, in the sense they are giving us, you know, really weird offers if you want to really like push ahead on the milestones. But aside from that, you know, I don't suspect that they're making too much money. If you guys remember back when, what was it, Modern Elektra and the Captain Marvel, the Kree Captain Marvel or whatever, the costume came out, you know, they were monetized really heavily. I don't remember what the price was, like $50 to $70. It was quite expensive and extortionate. I don't expect many people bought it because, you know, when I was blitzing and doing RTA, I like never saw anyone with those costumes. Now you're slowly starting to see more people with them because people have converted their costume credits, whether if it was from the Nick Fury event, the WandaVision event, and all these events that we've had, the bits get converted into costume credits and people can buy those ones that are permanently in the store. But we are getting some decent rewards here, like, because this is just spending campaign energy for the Phyla Bell event. So for a lot of people, they would have just spent this anyways. So you're getting, you know, aside from the costume credit bits, you are getting quite a bit of decent resources every single day. So if this happens for next patch, for the next event campaign character, you know, I think that's overall a positive, and I think that's something that we should take into consideration and keep in mind when we complain about things, because these are things that we might not have gotten in the past, and very rarely do I champion anything from Scopely. But I do think that this is a positive move, not the monetization of the costumes necessarily, but that this how it's given us extra resources, even though I am very disappointed in the costumes that have sort of come out to date. And they've been coming out for characters that really are quite meaningless. You know, there's very few that I'm pretty sure Iceman's the only one that I use on the regular every single day. Everyone else, you know, is probably just part of my Blitz rotation, or, you know, maybe occasionally I use in War. But aside from that, I don't really get to see them. I don't use them every day, so it's not a huge difference for me. So that's what I want to talk about here. Let's move into the costume store here, because they actually do have a costume store for that, and all the ads that are coming up, of course, across the screen. And actually, while we're talking, before we get there, let's look at that. So I believe that there are still some of these, yeah. So they kind of disguise this as that, but I suppose really at the end of the day, this is just a Phyla-Vell event offer. You know, I don't actually, it doesn't say, other than it has the background here, which is specifies. It could be the event, it could be the costume. I don't know what their marketing strategy was for this necessarily. There were more of that before. I guess there isn't any others anymore. I thought there was more offers for that. Anyways, let's jump on over to the costume section where you can buy them. So, please don't buy these costume credit orbs. They are worthless. You get very little. You get, what do you get? Like the best you could get is really realistically is like 600 on the in the middle, and the sides are 100. Like 1,000 costume credits per orb. It's maybe less. It's really not great, so please don't buy them. It's a waste of power cores. But you can see here how many. Actually, I only have 10,400. I guess I've been buying some of the costumes. I did buy the Vision costume from WandaVision. I don't think I bought Siege Thor on this account, and I don't think that I'm actually going to purchase President Loki. And so people are like, well, why not? And that's because I just don't really care. You know, I don't really use them daily at all. I'm not really going to see it much. And I'm really disappointed that they actually don't change any of the animations. Now, that might seem very minor, but I think that like if the animations changed, that I would actually be more inclined to push harder on these events. I would be more inclined to maybe even pay, you know, for a costume that I might actually use, or on a character that I use on the daily if their animations changed. I'm kind of disappointed in that part. They could have gone a little bit further, you know, but I guess that their dev team is a bit throttled here. They don't have enough people to really focus on that, but I feel that they could monetize it a lot better if their animations were actually different, because then there would be a reason to maybe buy it, other than the fact that their skin changes or whatever. And so it's funny because this X-Force Deadpool, which came out this patch, really we had that like 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago or whatever, on the back of the Deadpool movies. That was available to us in the game for a little while before they took that away. And the Captain Marvel and the Elektra ones, these were the original ones from the start of last patch. So it seems that the only one that they added permanently in here is the X-Force Deadpool, and then I suspect that when this goes away, that's going to be gone. So I don't know if that means every patch we're going to have some permanent additions. I wonder, you know, if some of these limited time ones are going to come back into the store to buy for costume credits, maybe later on, kind of as, you know, how characters become farmable, if costumes become farmable. I'm definitely going to make a spreadsheet about this just to keep track. You know, I won't have the dates, I guess, from last patch, but it'll be interesting to just keep track of all the skins that have come out, just to see if they do come back into the permanent store later on. Maybe I'm just the weird one who likes to keep track of these sort of things. I don't know why I hadn't done it before, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't bought any one of these ones. So in terms of the overall costumes, I did pick up the Nick Fury one. I think that's why I still have that. I do have the Iceman one, but overall, you can't even sort by costumes, can you? So it's a real pain in the ass to... Oh, actually, you can. All the characters with costumes. Okay, so we have 10 characters with costumes. And let's take a look at this. And, okay, so Vision's there. Okay, so we started with last patch. We had Vision, we had Scarlet Witch, we had Captain Marvel, we had Elektra, and Thor. So it looks like we're getting about 5 characters per patch when it comes to costumes. And I picked up Vision, Nick Fury. Oh, so we had Nick Fury as well. That was last patch, actually, too. So Vision, Nick Fury that I have, and Iceman. That's it. And I'm not picking up Loki. We have the Black Widow that's going to be coming next week or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have Thor. I'm pretty sure I don't have Thor, right? I didn't buy... I don't think I had that many costume credits. Oh, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't buy that. But, I mean, if you take a look at these characters, like, even Nick Fury, I'm not really using all that much. So, it's just, they're all... The best character here is actually Iceman because of the Astonishing X-Men, and a lot of people are using him daily, whether it's for Ultima 7 or for Doom Raid for the Mutant Lane. He is hands down the best one here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. What do you, I would really love to hear what you guys think about the whole, since they've been released, the character costumes. Is this just a way to give us more resources? If that's the case, that's fine. You know, I'm happy with the extra resources that we're getting as a result of these character costumes. I'm just slightly disappointed, A, because they're characters that we don't really use very often, and B, there was no animation changes. So I feel like they could have gone a little extra step. Maybe they would have made more money off of these if people actually, you know, worked a little bit harder and did some animation changes to it. I don't know. It could have been just like one move that got changed, but in a lot of other games, you know, I only have a few others to reference, but I know MOBA games, you know, things like League of Legends, they do actually work a little bit harder. They have like base skins and legendary skins and things like that. So I wonder if down the line, if we'll ever get more than one extra skin for each character. I wonder, do they just pull names out of the hat? How do they decide some of these? I know Black Widow is related to the movie, so that's coming next week with the snowsuit. That's obviously, and I like that it tells you sort of where it comes from as well. I like that they do that, but overall, it just doesn't really change much. And these are all for characters that we're not really using. So I don't know what the future has in store for costumes and character events, but I would say that on a whole, it is a positive experience because a lot of these are available to get free to play for the most part. I say for the most part because for President Loki's costume, you did need to spend some power cores in order to get enough bits to do that. But I'm hoping that some of these limited time costumes maybe come back into the permanent store. That way, for people who didn't get a chance, or you know maybe who started later on, that they can come back and get these costumes if they really want to. Again, none of this really matters in the meta aspect of the game, but for a fun part of the game, you know, I think that they could do a little bit more for this. And, you know, hey, they might make some more money as a result of that. But, you know, overall, it is what it is. I'm happy with it how it is for now, but I just wanted to cover this. I know it's probably not a very popular topic, or people don't really care much. But yeah, just curious what your guys' thoughts, or if it's just another part of the game. But we are, indeed, getting more resources as a result, so that's a plus. But we'll see if that continues on with next patch, if we're going to get another campaign event character patch, costume, milestone, that gives us more resources. And if this is something that we can expect going forward every single patch, then overall, that's better for us, I would think. So yeah, let me know what you think about A, character costumes, B, you know, the extra resources. I'm sure nobody can complain about extra resources, and any other thoughts that you might have about costumes down below. Feel free to let me know. And so until next time, guys, of course, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Well, I'm signing out.